Hello everybody, Chef Mikey here, and I want to give a little demonstration of how the enter page works and some of the complex workings of this page. Recipes are complex documents, and there's a lot moving parts on this particular page, but it's really easy once you get the hold of it. First of all, at the top, we always enter the recipe basics, and in this case I'm going to make a vodka sauce. Oops, I have to spell it right. Vodka pasta sauce. Now, the more particular, the more specific you are, and descriptive of the names and things like that, then the better off that you'll be when it comes to generating images and doing other things like that. This is a main course. It really doesn't have beef or anything like that. Actually, it's a vegetarian dish, so we'll just go there. That's fine. Let's see. What's the... That's good. Doctor's a binder. All right, and let's say that we have a total of 4 or 5 servings is fine. And we create a recipe card, and basically what we get first of all is this list of ingredients. And what happens here is that we have a curated ingredients list. It looks at the type, and it looks like at the dish type and the category and the name of the dish, and basically goes out and tries to identify the most common ingredients that are in our current database. Okay, and for this particular recipe, where we start is with some garlic. We have a couple cloves. Now these are the measure buttons. And what we need in this case is we need a total of 4 garlic cloves, all right? And in this case, we're going to use what we call modifiers. You slide this down, because we want the garlic to be minced. So we'll click one of our modifiers here. Then at that point, we add ingredient, all right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have some onions, and we need about 1/2 cup of onions. And we need them diced as well. If we'd like to add a custom modifier, we can click down here, like for instance, and say fine. All right, and add an ingredient, and see we have onions diced fine. All right, now let's come back up and let's go through a little bit different way to view this. What we can do is we can sort by alphabetic, and in this case, let's scroll down, see, and get to tomatoes. Tomato paste is actually what we want. All right, we click on tomato paste, and what we need is a small can. So what we can do is we have a variety of different tabs down here where we can look for different measures, some metric, some US, things of that nature. In this case, what we really need is let's just call it the #1 can of tomato paste. All right, now we do not have vodka on this particular list. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here, and this particular panel lets us enter custom ingredients. So in this case, we'll do vodka. All right, and we'll hit add custom ingredient. And we'll come up and go back to US because I need tablespoons. All right, and we add 3 tablespoons of vodka. All right. Now the next thing that we need is another custom ingredient for this particular recipe, and we need pasta water. Let's call it reserved. All right, which of course is the starchy water that you get when you cook pasta. And we're going to need about 1.5 cups of that. So we'll click a cup and we'll click a half. If I decide I only need 1, I would just right click the half, and I'd end up with a cup of water. Let's add that to the recipe. All right, the next thing that we need is heavy cream. Now, heavy cream is generally not something you make with main dishes, but it is. As a matter of fact, we have it, and we need a cup of heavy cream. All right, and then the next thing we need some butter. And I need unsalted butter, and in this case I need 2 tablespoons. Okay. Add ingredient. Now let's look for some cheese. Let's let's see, we got straight cheese on this one. Let's go down to our search ingredient down here. Since this was vegetarian to begin with, I don't know for sure that we have cheese on that particular list. But what we're looking for in this case is going to be a Parmesan. All right, we'll choose Parmesan, and let's go back up. And we want that grated. We do have grated on this list. I did have, there it is. And we're going to need a total of 1 cup of this. All right. Now that pretty well takes care of our ingredients for this particular recipe. All right. Now, some other things about this particular, we'll get down to the instructions in another video. But some other items on this particular list that should be noted, besides the multiple ingredients that we have here, what you can also do is go out, and there's a thing here called Chef Mikey's Suggestions. And what this does is a very specific list of ingredients for this particular recipe. What it does, it actually goes out and looks for vodka sauce and comes up, generally with the most common ingredients, pasta, tomato, onion, garlic, basil, salt and pepper. So that way, you can actually really quickly enter recipes, because usually you have just exactly what you want right here on the front screen. All right. Well, if you have any questions, certainly send an email to support@myrecipes.com. Just practice makes perfect, but it doesn't take too long to learn. Thank you.